morning, everyone. Welcome to the regular, I thought there was a Mako. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Yuma County Board of Supervisors. We'll also be sitting as all special taxing districts. This is the October 18th, 2021, 9 a.m. meeting. Board members can attend either in person or by telephone or remotely via electronic conferencing. Obviously, everybody's here. This is the call to order. The first item in the agenda will be the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll let Supervisor Simmons to lead us on the Pledge of Allegiance.
All right, please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For the sake of brightness. Okay, the next item, the agenda is called to the public. Call to the public is held for the public benefit to allow individuals to address issues within the board's jurisdiction. Board members may not discuss items that are not specifically identified on the agenda. Therefore, pursuant to Arizona revised statutes, action taken as a result of public comment will be limited to directing staff to study the matter, responding to criticism, or scheduling the matter for further discussion on a future date. I do have one call to the public. Actually, I have two. One is Bob Fioik. Bob, the floor is yours. Yes. Your nickel. Your dime.
15 minutes. Good morning, gentlemen. I hate to bother you with trivial crap like I got to cry about, but I live out in the foothills off of foothills. I call it Speedway. And my issue is the speeding out there. And it's not, understand it's not just out there. It's in every state, every county, every city in America. And I have an issue that I don't understand why people can't obey the law. I don't have a problem obeying the law, driving the speed limit. Other people do. I don't understand why. We have a real issue out there. I live on 52nd Street, which is 2 miles across. It's the widest street out there. Maybe that's why everybody uses it all the time. And the same thing, I call it 52nd Speedway. There's only 2 stop signs on that street, 2 miles across there. I counted them yesterday. There's 12 speed limit signs. That's a 25, not 35 or 40 or 45 that gets driven every single day. I watch it. And it needs to stop. I don't know. I understand. I talked to Darren about it earlier there that it's the sheriff's responsibility out there to protect and serve us from people that can't obey the laws out there and drive the speed limit. It's their job. They're not doing their job. So what do? Quit paying our taxes or something? I don't know. Maybe, and I got to talk to Darren, maybe they can't find people qualified enough. I know they're understaffed. Maybe they can't find good people or something. I don't know. But I'm in the process of volunteering out there, maybe to help a little bit and make myself visible out there to help them. I know they all need help, eyes and ears. Everybody does in this country. So there's something, but something's got to be done out there. I don't know whether we need, I talked to Darren, I think my perception of this, I think we need stop signs on every intersection on that street. Some speed bumps. You guys got speed bumps right here on Main Street. There's speed bumps around town on residential areas. And that's been a problem out there I talk to deputies out there once in a while when they go by. I flag them down and thank them for being out there a little bit. We need help out there. We're not getting it. But something's got to get done. And I just talked to Darren too. There was a guy killed, run over on a bicycle by a razor on Fortuna, I think last week or week before last. What is a life worth out there now that the weather's nice? There's a lot of people out there jogging, riding their bikes, walking. I see packs of people walking their dogs out there and people driving by there 35, 40, 45 miles an hour. What is a life worth before something gets done out there? I don't understand. The people that could put speed bumps, the people that are supposed to be responsible, maybe we could get some help out there, put some stop signs out there. I don't think they care because they don't live there. If this was happening in front of their house, I bet it'd get taken care of. Something needs to get done. I don't know what it is. So that's my bitch and gripe. So.
You know, and you're not the only one.
Oh, I understand.
And it's not the only area. We're getting a lot of complaints about about everywhere. We're, in the mix of traffic, tractors and cars and trucks. Right now, it's becoming an issue, and all throughout Yuma County. If you talk to and people in South County have a problem, the extension of Avenue B, it's become a situation where the more we improve the roads, the better they look, the faster they drive, the faster we drive, I should say. So yes, we will take that into our advice. We will let the sheriff know, and we'll see what we can do other than having a police.
The office is open again. I'm gonna stop by there and talk to, would you say, what,
Lieutenant Pavlak.
Pavlak? I think, that might have been the guy that I talked to earlier about that too, so I'm gonna stop and talk to him, but anyway, something,
Right.
I don't know what it is. And just like I reiterated again, it's in every state, every county, and every city in America. Why do people think they don't have to obey the law?
I think it must be the fact that it's so, it's so, out there. It's in the county. People think they go to the county and they don't think it's a city. They don't think it's urban. They don't realize the number of people that live in an area like the foothills, residential areas. I mean, you drive through there, it's a frontage road or something, and people think it's.
We have rules.
We can't get into too many discussions because I look at the.
We have
attorney-
rules in our society, and they pertain to everybody, not just for the people that want to obey them. The good people. Thank you for your, Darrell, hope to see you again someday.
We'll see you.
Will do. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Very welcome.
Right, Arlen Galaviz.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. I believe there are some flyers in front of you. Yes. So my name is Arlene Galaviz. I work for the city of Yuma. I'm the program administrator for Mayor Nichols. And I would like to invite you and the public to the 5th Mayor's Binational Bicycle Ride. So this is a collaborative community event, and it's meant to bring everybody from the various communities together and allow them to interact with their community leaders. So this is going to be next Saturday, October 23rd. We are going to start off at the Civic Center, and then we're going to stop at every community. So we'll stop at the Cocopah Corner, Somerton, Gaston, San Luis, Arizona, and then we'll cross into Mexico to have a rider celebration in the Parque Industrial right there as you cross. So this is meant to have everyone, they can cross into Mexico if they'd like or not. It's entirely up to you, or you could stop at any place in the ride. It's a leisure ride, so it's not a race. So families, babies, whatever, you can pedal. I know there's electrical bikes. If you'd like to ride an electrical bike, that's an option as well. So please join us. And do you have any questions for me?
We're sending Supervisor Porches in. No, the question that I have is, you mentioned the industrial park. Is it not going to end in the middle of San Luis as you did before?
I'm sorry, yes. It's El Parque del Centro, yes.
Oh, so it's downtown. It's not in the industrial park.
Right in front of the church.
I thought maybe they changed it to that commercial crossing. So you cross over, you can't cross back. You have to go around. Okay, I'm so embarrassed to tell you that I got a bike for Christmas gift like 3 years ago, and I donated it because I didn't use it at all. But so now now that I probably want to go, I can't. I have to borrow a bike from somebody.
Don't tell Gene that. He'll have your.
I know.
So will you join us, or are you going to participate with us?
We're gonna try. I think Supervisor Porches is gonna join.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much for
I
your
think
time.
he goes back to his being a mayor of Somerton thing. He was always involved in those things. I don't even remember when I was the mayor of San Luis anymore, much less whether I rode a bike or not. Thank you very much for the invitation.
Thank you. And one last thing, I just want to thank Yuma County for partnering with Yuma on the Yuma Stop. It's going to be great. We've worked with HR and Carla and Felicia, so thank you so much for that collaboration.
So
Thank
that's
you.
why you were sitting next to Carmen. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Arlen. All right, that takes care of the call to the public area. The call to the public section will remain open throughout the meeting, so that if we need to address anything, we can always go back, just in case somebody shows up a little late. So we're gonna move on to the presentations, proclamations, and appointment. And during this segment of the agenda, board members may discuss the presentations and proclamations and may announce appointments to the Yuma County Planning and Zoning Commission and the Yuma County Board of Adjustments. No legal action will be taken. The first presentation is the County Line by Yuma 77, the Yuma County Government Channel.
supporters, and survivors walk a mile to help raise awareness for victims of domestic violence. Arizona at Work held a job and education fair at the 4 Point Sheraton Hotel. And our health district shares some tips to keep trick-or-treaters safe this Halloween. These stories and more, this is your County Line. National Domestic Violence Awareness Month is in October, which gives a month-long opportunity to raise awareness and give voice to victims of abuse.
Combating domestic violence is an issue that each of us have to address. It's not just a police department or organizations, advocacy groups that are out here helping, but each individual person, family is responsible to ensure that we have safe homes.
The Somerton Domestic Violence Task Force and the Yuma County Crime Victims' Rights Committee held its first annual Walk a Mile in Their Shoes for victims of domestic violence.
That walk is just for them to remember the journey, everything. You're not alone. There's a lot of services here, and I want somebody to know that together it's education and prevention.
Several agencies set up informational booths for the public. After the proclamation, participants in support of domestic violence victims launched balloons into the sky. Then they walked a mile in remembrance.
This is really unique because it's an opportunity to remember and to reflect and to recommit ourselves to serve these victims and help them any way that we possibly can as a community.
If you've been a victim of a crime or know someone that has but aren't sure where to turn for help, you can contact the Yuma County Attorney's Office. Just go to their website, yumacountyaz.gov/county attorney. A job and education fair was recently held with a higher than expected turnout throughout the day. Arizona at Work, along with numerous partnering agencies, hosted the 2021 Community Job and Education Fair at the 4 Point Sheraton Hotel. Over 30 employers, including several divisions from Yuma County, were present. The Library District, along with Human Resources, Grants, and the Sheriff's Office were in the building recruiting for specific positions.
Any time that we get an opportunity to come out and do community outreach and be able to actually meet people in person, we have officers here that are available to answer questions, not maybe only about their profession, but about the agency overall.
This was a great opportunity to connect with multiple employers at one time in a single location. For more job opportunities, please visit yumacountyaz.gov. Pedestrian injuries are the most common Halloween injury for children. The Yuma County Health District encourages everyone to implement some simple tips to keep our little ghouls and goblins safe. There will be a lot of children walking through the neighborhoods on Halloween night. As a driver, you must be especially vigilant. Keep an eye out for children at intersections, medians, and curbs, and take extra precautions when entering and exiting driveways. Adults should show children how to cross the street at corners using traffic signals and crosswalks.
So a lot of times during Halloween, kids are darting from house to house, sometimes left to right across the street, mid-block where drivers aren't normally expecting them to cross. So if you are trick-or-treating, cross at the end of the blocks, at the corners. And as drivers, we need to be aware that kids probably aren't going to be following all the rules that they normally should. So it's just a good idea to be aware, drive slow, be cautious, and be aware of your surroundings.
You can apply reflective tape to costumes and bags, or carry flashlights and glow sticks to enhance visibility. And don't forget, always check your child's candy when they return home. Are you looking for a fun and safe way to celebrate Halloween? Yuma County will hold the Red Ribbon Trunk or Treat event on Saturday, October 23rd from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. This event is free to the public.
Hi, I'm Mary, and this is your Health Watch. On behalf of Health Literacy Month, The Yuma County Health District is urging the public to understand the importance of health literacy and take charge of your health. While it's important for healthcare professionals to speak in plain language, recognize cultural differences, and make sure patients understand health information, there are also some steps you can take to improve your health literacy. Keep a running list of questions to ask your doctor. Ask for a translator. Repeat what your doctor says in your own words. Bring a friend or family member to your appointment. Ask to work with a patient navigator. Ask for other materials or handouts that will help you to understand. So speak up, ask questions, and take control of your health. For more information, please visit the website on your screen. That is all for now. Stay healthy, Yuma.
Before we go, we'd like to give a shout out to one of our departments for a job well done. The Engineering Department received an award from the Intelligent Transportation Society of Arizona, or ITS-AZ. They selected this project for the 2021 Best Use of an ITS Industry Product or Service. The project is located on an offset intersection that had previously been on the county's top 50 intersections for crashes. Congratulations to our engineering department for their outstanding work. We'd like to thank you for joining us for this County Line. If you'd like to watch past episodes, log on to yumacountyaz.gov/VOD. And don't forget, you can join us live on Facebook. We'd like to leave you now with a message from Yuma County employee Lori Dorame, telling us why she loves working for Yuma County.
My name is Lori Dorame, and I'm an engineering account specialist for Yuma County Department of Engineering, and I've been with the county for 3.5 years. I know Yuma County has been very flexible and family oriented. There's always room to grow. There's a lot of opportunity to do training or advance in your career. It's been a great experience. I've been able to use my skills and knowledge to better our department and provide them with the best service for our department as well as the community.
All right. Okay. I did get another speaker form here. So before we move on to the next, which is just a proclamation, we're going to let Felicia Frosto and Maribel Valtierra come up and give us some information on the Thanksgiving food drive for the Yuma Community Food Bank.
Good morning, Chairman Reyes, members of the board. It's that time of year when we want to be able to do our philanthropic giving back to the community. And so what Yuma County Human Resources is challenging all of our departments and offices this year is with the Thanksgiving food drive. We're partnering with the Yuma Community Food Bank. Maribel and her team, as you saw Carla here, we definitely want to be able to assist them. Alejandra Jamil, she also is able to assist us with this process. So what we're planning on doing is that gathering different items, as you can see, but we have two ways to participate. So this year alone, we want to be able to invite individuals either challenging as individual teams within their department or office, or if you want to participate individually, so that this way we'll have donation boxes at various different offices and locations, and we'll be able to have this begin as of today, and it will end on November 19th. And we're hoping that we will have the representative from the Yuma Community Food Bank to be present with us when we actually are able to inform her of our winners of the challenges during after the next meeting in late November or first part of December, as well as be able to provide the overall pounds that we would have contributed to the Yuma County Food Bank. Would you like to add anything, Maribel?
No, I think you said it pretty clear. We're just encouraging Yuma County to participate so that we can ease the stress on the upcoming holidays for these families.
Does Michelle want to say anything, Mr. Chairman?
I don't know, does she? All right, good.
I'm here. I'll let you ladies finish talking and then I'll pop in here. Sure. Chairman and Vice Chairman, Michelle Merkley with Yuma Community Food Bank. Very proud that they reached out to host a food drive. Right now, if you drive past the food bank, you'll see a long line. So the need is very great right now. And having food drives and having the public and people of Yuma County and Yuma City help with the donated products, that helps offset what we have for government commodities to feed families in Yuma County. So we would really appreciate everybody coming together and helping out and collecting those canned goods for the families for the holidays.
Right. Okay, well, thank you, ladies. We'll keep that in mind, and I'm sure that, you know, the listeners are listening, and that, you know, county, you guys are always doing a great job in terms of coordinating this. So I don't expect it to be any different, especially given the situation that we're currently going through. So thank you very much, and we'll keep an eye on it. All right, thank you. And we're moving on then to the next item, which is Chairman, a proclamation proclaiming the week of October 23rd to 31st, 2021 as Red Ribbon Week in Yuma County. Supervisor, I forgot your last name.
Natalio Líneas.
Natalio Líneas. Supervisor Lines will read the proclamation. Thank you.
Okay, proclamation Red Ribbon Week, October 23 through 31, 2021. Whereas alcohol and drug abuse in this nation have reached epidemic stages. And whereas it is imperative that visible, unified prevention education efforts by community members be launched to eliminate the demand for drugs. And whereas the National Red Ribbon Campaign offers citizens the opportunity to demonstrate their commitment to drug-free lifestyles, no use of illegal drugs, no use of legal drugs, no illegal use of legal drugs. And whereas the National Red Ribbon Campaign will be celebrating communities in America during Red Ribbon Week, October 23 through 31. And business, government, parents, law enforcement, media, medical institutions, religious institutions, schools, senior citizens, service organizations, and youth will demonstrate their commitment to healthy, drug-free lifestyles by wearing and displaying red ribbons during this week-long campaign. And the community of Yuma County remains committed to the success of the Red Ribbon Cutting campaign. Now, therefore, proclaim the week of October 23 through 31, 2021 as Red Ribbon Week in Yuma County. And we encourage its citizens to participate in drug prevention education activities, not only during Red Ribbon Week, but all year long, joining the Yuma County Anti-Drug Coalition and the rest of the state and nation, making a visible statement that we are strongly committed to a drug-free America. Tony Reyes.
Thank you very much, Supervisor. Is anybody here to pick that up? Or oh, there you are. Could you come? Would you please step forward? You look back and didn't.
So good morning. I'm actually the chair for the Yuma County Anti-Drug Coalition, and I'm very glad to be here and accept the proclamation. In behalf of the coalition, we would like to thank everyone, the board members, for supporting us in this proclamation. So we truly appreciate that.
We're gonna give this to you.
Oh yeah.
Gives us a chance to stretch.
I don't think she was done yet. Don't even hurry.
I think you take this. Okay. And we'll keep this for the next one. Let me look that way.
Come on in.
Okay. They put you aside. I know, they put the table there. I don't know. I said that from the beginning. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Truly appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. That's the problem. You really want
So it'll just take a few seconds, but I just wanted to remind of the Drunkard Event that we're having this weekend on the 23rd. We used to have this event annually, and because of the pandemic and funding reasons, we were not able to. So we're really excited and very happy that we can bring this back to the community with the drug-free grant. We were able to purchase over $5,000 worth of candy, so we really want to give this out. Yeah, exactly. So we need a lot of people there. We need a lot of families so that we can distribute that candy. And we have a lot of prizes, performances, DJs. So it'll be a really fun event. Look for our advertising through the billboards. There's a billboard going on digital with the trunk or treat. So I invite the board members and the community to participate.
Where is this taking place?
This is going to take place at the Yuma Catholic High School on the north side grass area. So it's a big area. We have about 16 trunks that are there, different agencies, part of the members that will be there. So we're very excited and we invite everybody. So hopefully you guys can make it there. Yeah, did you want to add anything else?
Just thank you for your commitment to endorsing a healthy, drug-free lifestyle. I think it's certainly important, not only nowadays, but everywhere in the country. So this is in some ways a symbolic gesture, but it's important to get the word out there that drugs are a dead-end road, and living a healthy, drug-free lifestyle is what we do here in Yuma County. We move that forward. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. And thank you, Mr. Simmons, for reminding them. Let them finish up. All right, the next item in the agenda is the consent calendar. In the consent calendar, the following items are listed under the consent agenda and will be considered as a group and acted upon one motion with no separate discussion unless a board member so requests. In that event, the item will be removed from the consent calendar for separate discussion and action. Anybody? I'm pulling item number 9 out. Anybody else? Then I'll entertain a motion to approve items 1 through 13 with the exception of item number 1. Number 9.
Second.
Been a motion and second to approve all consent items, excluding item number 9. All those in favor, is there any discussion on the motion? If not, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Item number 9 is Public Works. Authorize the Public Works Director to purchase 30 SUVs, trucks, and vans from PBFT Motors, which is Peoria Motors, in an amount not to exceed $1.224.113 dollars. The reason I pulled it out, it's there are always normal reasons. I mean, we're buying 30 vehicles, and we're buying them out of Peoria, and really, I look at the terms. Most of them were good till the 15th of October. They have 140 to 260 days to delivery. Some of them are like $1,000, $2,000 off from the local dealer. And I know we don't have a local preference, and we can't under state law, so I understand that. But why are we why are we buying something that will take 6 months to get delivered? I mean, considering the stuff that we're going through. And we're going through really bad supply stuff. So it's not unusual right now to wait for a vehicle for 8 weeks or 12 weeks. It's just every time we spend $1 million like this on vehicles that we buy from Phoenix, normally we use a state contract, I suppose. Are we using a state contract, or this was just a bidding process outside the state contract?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Josh Scott, Public Works Director. We put this out for bid. We didn't go the state contract route. We wanted to at least give the local dealers the opportunity to bid. We will be back at the next board meeting with another round of vehicles, and that one should be awarded to Alexander. So there was some vehicles that a local dealer did have the best price on.
Yeah, well, it's always to us a situation where, we pay taxes most of the time. I mean, I don't know if as county governments, we still pay the sales tax, but there's always something about shopping local. We ask people to do that all the time. And I just wanted to make a point. I hope that local dealers, I understand some of the mechanics behind a lot of this stuff. I mean, there's obviously better access inventory. Those people in Phoenix can probably access those vehicles easier than the local dealer as its size, the size of the dealership. But if it really feels to me odd that we spend like over $1 million on vehicles and we can't, at this particular time with this particular group, we couldn't get one to a local dealer, and that felt a little,
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
So on item number 8, and we've already authorized that, you guys tacked on to the city's bid. Was there a city bid out there that we could have tacked on to where we'd already seen the prices?
So the city has a contract with a dealer in, I believe it's Lake Havasu for Fords, and then I believe they had one with Fisher Chevrolet, or it might be backwards.
Okay, so no current contract with any other locals? Okay.
I don't know. We haven't been able to find a way. I've been here a long time, but we haven't been able to find a way to get the local dealer to benefit from this. And it feels like, I mean, we keep telling people, buy locally, don't go out, and then we spend $1 million. And I just wanted to make that point, and I think that what your answer, and maybe I'm mistaken that because that's what I like to hear, but your answer is that the local dealer did get some, but they're not in this batch. I did see a somewhat traveling statement in one of the comments on the bottom of one of the bids that said, the price of the 2022s is not really fixed, and it's still to be announced. But I guess if they bid on it, I mean, they're going to have to follow through on their bid. I mean, it does have that little statement on the bottom that says basically, we don't really know what the price of the 22s are going to be. They're all 2022s. They're Fords, they're Explorers, Rangers. I mean, it's Ford. Yeah, it's Peoria Ford. And some of them, but I'm sure that legal is going to cover that, right?
Well, and Mr. Chairman, we did go and work with Peoria Ford to verify the pricing prior to bringing that.
It's kind of weird because in some of them it says pricing good through model year, but it's 2022, and then some of them it basically says that that's what it says, and then another one says the pricing should be good through model year, but confirmed with dealer as 22 pricing is not officially available. I just get a sense that, okay, I hope they keep their word. We're approving that up to that amount, right? So, you're authorized by us. If they don't come through with the price, that's not a good bid. But it makes me feel uncomfortable to have something like that on the bottom of as a statement in the pricing sheet, because to me, that gives them an opportunity to say, well, they came in higher. Now, I've bought about 25 vehicles in my lifetime, and every time, dealers come up with something new, like, desert packaging or premium this or premium that. So they're really good at it. So good luck.
But you're awarding at that purchase price, so if they're not going to hold that price, then we
back out.
Yeah, we would not purchase
The
that
other
vehicle.
thing, again, I mentioned the other thing. I mean, waiting 260 days for a vehicle is weird, but it's a sign of the times.
It is tough. So with heavy equipment and our semi trucks particularly, those, Peterbilt's telling us we couldn't see a truck until next July.
That's 260 days.
It is tough with the microchip issues. Sensors have been the latest one and things like that.
Yeah, I saw it. It's the 350s, the 550s, the Fords. I mean, they're all sort of backed up. All right. Well, I just wanted to. It just makes me feel a little better that you understand how uncomfortable we get when we have
Very uncomfortable.
When we sort of like make these purchases out of town. But I mean, we tried every possible way to give the local dealer a chance to get at them.
This has been a little bit of an education that the way car dealerships and manufacturers work is,
it's weird.
It is. So we've tried to encourage Alexander and Fisher to get on a state contract. Then we can go directly to them without having to bid this out. There's some corporate politics at Ford as far as who can access state contracts and things like that. Are out of our control, but we are working with Fisher, or I guess it's Chapman now, particularly to see with the new owners, they may have different resources and can get on a state contract.
Yeah. Well, I did notice that the heavier equipment was the one that, was going to take a longer time, but I did notice that the smaller equipment was the one that said verify with dealer after initial pricing. So it's kind of weird. I think it has a lot to do with all the delays that we're having. Everything's stuck. Look, I'm not going to keep harping on the same thing. Hopefully the dealer would listen and get himself, into the system. No, it's not Sands. What is it now?
Alexander?
No, it used to be Alexander Ford, but it's now
Chapman that used to
Chapman.
Fisher.
Yeah.
Chapman is the other one. Chapman Chevrolet. Okay, well, anyway, unless there's something in there that I can't think of, as long as they keep those prices beyond 10-15 and they meet all the requirements, I don't think we have much of an option, as the attorney would say. I mean, just a lot of talk, but there's very little we can actually do. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I just want to make a comment, Mr. Chair. I think it was about 2 weeks ago or last month, I attended a meeting. I won't say what city, but they purchased 8 vehicles, and it was also from Phoenix area. So they try to do, because there was questions by the council, and they try to do whatever, what you did. So it's not only us, and pretty much every elected official in Yuma County wants, what the chair was asking, but it's sometimes, like you said, it's tough. It's different things that it's out of our control. So.
Well, I think the only relief we could get is legislative relief. We always thought about a local, a local, I don't remember what it's called, but it's a local preference type situation where you give local preference if it's less than 5% or 2% or something.
Yeah.
Because, one of the pricings was like off by less than $1,000 or something between the local and the outside dealer. So when you get into a situation like that.
What was the total?
It's 30. Oh, the total for the whole thing?
Total difference.
Oh, the total was 1,000 something.
No.
Oh, the total difference in what? Because it was all different.
With all the vehicles, because there was actually 1 or 2 where they didn't even have a bid in there.
Yeah, I know. It's just the type of vehicles we're talking about are not, normal. But when you're paying for an F-150 $72,000,
yeah.
I mean, it's just like, wow. I mean, but it's like that everywhere with everything. I mean, let's not get into all the prime details, but the bottom line is the only way to get a local preference is through the legislature. We've been told by the attorney, you can't do it yourself. You can't come up with some way to benefit someone or somebody or some private entity. So I guess we're just swimming against the current, but we keep swimming, trying to figure out a way. Thanks a lot, Scott. I mean, you guys try, and I mean, you deal with what you've got, not with what you want. So is there a motion to approve the item as presented?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Then motion second to approve the item as presented. All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Go and multiply. It's a lot of vehicles. Okay, well, we're going to discussion and action items, and the board will open each of the following items separately for discussion and action as appropriate. The first one is County Administration, Public Health Service District, and Emergency Management, discussion and possible action regarding COVID-19 updates and activities. Mrs. Gomez?
Good morning, Chairman Reyes, members of the board. Diana Gomez, Director of Public Health. Just some quick vaccine updates so far in our population. Yuma County as a whole, 59% of our population is vaccinated. And the question was asked earlier about the difference between that and eligible population. Eligible population meaning above the age of 12 because they're eligible for the Pfizer vaccine. And when you do it that way, the number goes up to 71%. So 71% of our eligible population is currently vaccinated. As you may have heard, Pfizer has gone ahead and submitted the paperwork for emergency use authorization for vaccines for children ages 5 to 11. That is going to work its way to the regulatory process, and they're scheduled to meet on October 26th to discuss that. Again, that would be the Pfizer vaccine for children ages 5 to 11. And then after that, the CDC meets on November 2nd and 3rd. And so it looks like that's when we'll have some final guidance to move forward and be able to administer that vaccine to children. The dose is going to be about 1/3 of what you're seeing, or it's going to be 1/3 of what you're seeing for adult vaccine. So it's a smaller dose, but they found that dose in that age group is just as effective. So they're going to move forward with that. The other vaccine news, you have 2 other vaccines, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine and the Moderna, that are currently working through the regulatory process as well. For those 2 vaccines, the FDA met last Friday and recommended booster shots for both of them. It still has to go through the CDC and the other regulatory bodies, so that's scheduled to happen on October 20th and 21st. For the Moderna vaccine, the dosage for the booster shot is going to be recommended at half a dose of the original vaccine. Again, we're looking at doing that at 6 months after you get your first and second dose to complete that series. The Moderna vaccine is currently about 4 weeks apart. The FDA recommended for the Moderna booster vaccine that it be applied to people over the age of 65 and those 18 to 64 who are high risk for developing severe COVID infection because of where they live or their living situation or their work. So again, both the Pfizer and the Moderna booster vaccines will be intended to be given about 6 months after you completed the series. As far as the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, the panel is currently reviewing that data. And the difference there is that they're going to recommend it a booster for anybody over the age of 18. That's the current age that Johnson & Johnson vaccines are authorized for. So with those, they will be offered a booster, if you're 18 or over. And again, they are recommending that you get the same type of vaccine that you got. However, with the Johnson & Johnson, there's a National Institute of Health study that's currently reviewing whether they will recommend either using one of the 2 mRNA vaccines, either Pfizer or Moderna, as a possible booster. But again, we're still waiting to hear from that. We'll learn more after they meet on the October 21st or 22nd. So again, the good news again is the children's vaccine is going to be available soon. In preparation for that, we are preparing to allocate as the health district, also pediatricians and other providers that work with families and children are being asked to onboard, very similar to the process when vaccines first became available. So those are the updates overall. Our infection numbers seem to be trending downward. Even in the children, they seem to have stabilized. So, with the advent of the vaccines, hopefully we'll continue to move in the right direction. Questions?
Mr. Chair, I'm just happy with 71%. That's of those who are eligible. That's a high number, and that's very, very, very good. Do we know how many people have gotten boosters?
So for the Moderna and the Johnson & Johnson, the boosters, we should not be administering those boosters. We know that with the Pfizer, those were approved, and we called those the third dose as well. So I don't have exact numbers, but I will look into those for you. Mm-hmm.
It's been a year of tribulations, but also a year of opportunities. I've seen a lot of grants and subsidies come to the health department. And I'm particularly aware of your space problems. I mean, you share a building with the U of A, who's been there for a while, who also, I suppose, wants and needs their space. And we talked about it last year sometime, and I think we talked about it earlier this year. Is there a study being conducted to see what your current and future needs would be in terms of space?
Yes, we're working with facilities management and an architecture firm to come up with some proposals. Again, the goal is to have space that we can use for, usable space. Again, we've outgrown the facility and we have other departments in there that we've absorbed through that process. And we're really proud that we've been able to expand services. And again, our grants have saved taxpayers money, so we continue to expand services. It just becomes an issue of people and locations to provide a lot of these services. For example, our meeting space, which was the auditorium, has been basically our clinic for the last year and a half. So every conference room we had has been converted into office space. So we've used every available space that's available to us. So we're working on that. Facilities management is helping with that.
You guys have done a heck of a job.
Well, again, if you're conducting one, it takes a long time for us to adapt. And when I said that the county health department of 2 years ago is not going to be the county health department that we presently have, well, it isn't. And it's not going to be the county health department that we expect to have in the future. I suspect that there will be needs that, are rising now that, if you get a $1 million grant, you have to hire 12 people. You're going to have to put them somewhere. And where are you going to put them, considering your space? You need to start preparing for that. So I'd like to see something within the next month or two regarding your needs and what we're going to do about it, because it takes a long time for anything to happen in government, especially county government. So, and I know that we have, like Tony, where's Tony? I think I saw him over there. Tony is in a temporary, well, it's not a temporary, but it's a mobile home, a double wide, sit in the floor. And you have the the tuberculosis section that you're using storage, I think,
Mhm.
sometimes. I mean, it's not particularly, I would say, encouraging to be having to put stuff, store stuff in buildings that aren't designed for that. And that, you keep growing, but you don't know where to put people, and you're actually having to do with basically converting places from actually conference rooms into clinics and so forth. I mean, you guys have done a great job, but it's time you start thinking about the facilities you're doing it on, and start realizing that future is not that far off. Any other comments? No? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Tony, you want to say something? You don't want to complain about what you're. You don't have anything to say? That's good, then. Stay there. All right. Thank you. Anything else? No? Man, that was pretty quick. The health department is leaving even before we finish. The next item is facility management. It's a discussion and possible action regarding potential lease or purchase of real property at 102 South Main Street to be utilized as temporary office.
That was removed, I think.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, the staff has asked to pull that. We'll bring that back to you next meeting. Thank you.
Where is the notice? Normally I get a notice. Maybe it was an email notice. A verbal notice? I got a verbal notice? Okay. Notice I did get the notice at the end. So no wonder you were talking about a short meeting, Supervisor Line. You had removed. Okay, the next item is it's regarding legislative issues and county administration discussion with possible action regarding the following legislative items reported by supervisors regarding proposed bills in the Arizona State Legislature with impact to Yuma County, and an update regarding strategies relating to federal legislative priorities. Supervisor.
Mr. Chairman, good morning. Members of the board, good morning as well.
Good morning.
I'll be giving you a brief update on key legislative and policy items. So briefly, the state update. We have some state legislators thinking about running for another office in the state. We got, just to name a few, for the governor's office, for the governor's position, Representative Lieberman is planning on resigning and running for governor's office, governor's position. Now, for the Secretary of State, we have several thinking of running. We've got Senator Ugenti Rita, Senator Bollick, Representative Fincham, and Representative Balding. Most of them are not thinking of resigning to move on to run for the other office. They're planning to stay as of right now. Attorney General Representative Rodriguez is planning to run for that. On the state treasurer, Senator Quesada, Senator Livingstone, and Senator Winninger are also thinking of running. And for Superintendent of Public Instruction, Representative Udall is going to do that. And congressional districts 1 and 2 are also getting some attention from our state legislators. Representative Blackman is thought to be thinking about, is considering to resign before running for Congress. Senator Engel and Representative Daniel Hernandez is also considering running for Congressional District number 2, and they're also thinking of resigning.
Before you
Sure.
leave that, I'd like you to pay, if you can, Alex, particular attention to the districting process as it comes closer to the end. And so kind of give us a report of where you see that's going or where you see that's heading. There's so many maps that have been supplied to the Redistricting Commission that it would be tough to sort of predict where they're going to go. But they do have population. They do have the latest map on the population statistics, which is just a map that shows, how many people have to be in each legislative district. The one I saw troubled me a little bit, but because it's not the final one. But that would be a little, not that little, that would be a lot more interesting to me at this particular stage than it was, like, say, 2 months ago, because it's getting close to the end here.
Right.
And if they have some, seeing the latest maps would sort of give us a sense of where we think they're going. It's incredible for me I was at the last hearing they had. And it's incredible to me how many people are making the statement, leave us where we are. But they're saying leave us as whole. And it's incredible to see that the Yuma delegation, almost everybody from Yuma wants to leave us as we are, but that means splitting Yuma in two districts. So I kind of want to get a better sense of that. So next time, just find out as much as you can about the process and let us know, okay?
Will do. So 90 days after sign die have passed, and these are the results for the 2021 legislative referendum challenges. So as you can see, there were only 2 of them who gathered the necessary signatures to go into the ballot for next year. Referendum 03-2021 submitted 215,000 signatures, and it makes reference to sections 13 and 15 of Senate Bill 1828. The idea is that behind the sections was to create the new income tax brackets and the flat tax trigger. And the other one who that got enough signatures was referendum 06-2021. This refers to SB 1783. That establishes an alternative small business income tax with a 2.5 rate cap phased in through fiscal year 2025. Now, on there were 4 of them that did not get enough votes to make it to the ballot. I must say, and I think it is worth noting, that even when the referendum effort on SB 1819, which is the last one on the right, didn't collect enough signatures, it has been challenged at the state Supreme Court as part of the Arizona School Board Association versus State case. The oral arguments on this case will be held on November 2nd by the Arizona State Supreme Court.
Excuse me, is this the one where they're questioning the fact that they do all this through a budget procedure? They lump everything in it, don't discuss it, just pass it?
That's what
they're asking. They're basically saying or arguing that the Constitution says that every bill has to be, open and independent.
And it has been happening for a long time now, but now the argument is that they've taken a little bit too far. Yes. So on the federal update, good news is Congress is coming back from recess this week. So after missing the October 1st deadline to enact all appropriation bills, Congress voted to raise the debt ceiling limit by $480 billion, and President Biden signed the continuing resolution bill to provide enough funding through December 3rd.
Just in time for Christmas.
As a matter of fact, and some interesting fact I came to realize that missing the October 1st deadline is not unusual. In fact, that deadline has not been fully met since fiscal year 1997. On the second item, the House has yet to vote on the $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill that the Senate passed in August. Speaker Pelosi is still hoping to be able to have a vote on it by October the 31st. The vote on the infrastructure bill seems to be contingent on the approval of the reconciliation bill at both chambers of Congress. So on the international and border affairs, U.S. Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas announced last week that following guidance from the CDC, the Department of Homeland Security will amend Title 19 regulation to allow non-essential travelers who have been fully vaccinated for COVID-19 and have proper documentation to enter the U.S. via land and ferry ports of entry across the U.S. border.
November the 8th.
The modifications to the Title 19 regulations will occur in 2 phases over the next few months. First, on November the 8th, as Chairman Reyes mentioned, U.S. Customs and Border Protection will begin allowing fully vaccinated travelers from Mexico or Canada to enter the United States. Travelers will be required to have appropriate paperwork that provides proof of vaccination. Secondly, beginning in early January 2022, DHS will require that all inbound foreign national travelers crossing U.S. land and ferry ports of entries, whether for essential or not essential reasons, be fully vaccinated for COVID-19 and provide related proof of vaccination.
Let me just stop you there for a minute, because it gets a little confusing there. It seems to me like right now, a U.S. citizen or anyone with documents can cross the border without showing any proof of vaccination. Is this change going to require any one of those
No, it is,
People-
it only applies, Mr. Chairman, it only applies to
Well, everybody
foreign
with a green
travelers.
card is a foreign national. I just want to say that. Everybody with a green card is still a foreign national until they become a U.S. citizen. So, I'm a little concerned that look, if you're in an airport, I think you know that to get in a plane, you're going to have to either have proof that you're fully vaccinated, or you're going to have a test, a COVID test, which is recent, like 3 days before you fly. That's a policy at the airports. The policy at the ports of entry, land ports of entry, didn't deal with vaccination at all, whether you were a citizen or not. You would just simply get through. From what I've heard, they're not going to ask you for that anyway. They're only going to ask you if they sent you to secondary, or if you're coming in with a visa that it's one of those visas. They may or may not ask you to prove your vaccinations. What concerns me is the ambiguity about, okay, if you're a foreign national, the definition of a foreign national is anyone that isn't a U.S. citizen to me. Whether you're legally in the country or not, you're still a foreign national, even if you have a green card. I'm a little concerned about that. Some clarification is probably in order.
Chairman, I will definitely look into that and reach out to DHS or ICE and see what's the definition for foreign national as far as they're concerned. On another note, Mexico's ambassador to the United States, Esteban Moctezuma, visited Arizona last week for the first time since taking office in January. Ambassador Moctezuma said that Mexico is working with the U.S. to control migration. He pointed out that the Mexican government has deployed 27,000 National Guard troops to Mexico's southern border with Guatemala to strengthen an enforcement of Mexico's immigration laws and prevent migrants from traveling to the U.S.-Mexico border. That is my presentation for today. I don't know if you have any questions, Mr. Chairman, members of the board.
Got a bunch of questions, but I think I asked them during the presentation. Are there any questions here? Thank you, Alejandro. Thank you very much. And just as a side issue, we've got some issues with the Western Arizona Economic Development Council that we need to deal with sometime. I just want to let the board know there are some issues. The Mojave Board of Supervisors pulled out of it, so we're going to have to work our way through that one. And Alejandro's being the point person. I appointed him the point person for that issue, so we may come back to us at some particular time in the very near future.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next item is events calendar, current events. Board members and county administrator will report and may discuss events attended or to be attended on behalf of the county. They may present a brief summary of current events and may update the schedule for future board of supervisor meetings as appropriate. No legal action will be taken. Shall we begin with Supervisor Bankert?
I attended the State and Federal Redistricting Committee, the Zoom meeting they had, and again requested that District 4 and District 13 remain as close to the same as possible, depending on populations. We like having multiple senators and representatives and the two parties representing Yuma County. I got a chance to judge the YRMC Quality Hall of Fame, and it's a challenge they have for improvements that they do at the hospital, and I did the COVID-19 portion. It was really amazing of how our hospital came together, worked together, and kept our hospital open and going and helping people through COVID-19. It was really amazing. I really enjoyed that, judging that. And then on Columbus Day, I got the chance to spend the morning with an exchange student from Serbia. Her host family I know her host family. They contacted me. She had to write a paper about with an elected official. So I took her here. I brought her here. I answered all her questions, and then I took her around and showed her some of the departments and talked to some of the department heads and some of the other elected officials. And I just thoroughly enjoyed her. it was nice. And I want to thank all those other elected officials and department heads who are willing to visit with her and take some of their time and talk to her about how things operate with Yuma County. Thank you very much. It was delightful. I also the Capital Times Morning Scoop. I attended that via Zoom. It was on education and workforce development, and those are always very interesting for me. I attended the CDBG grants first public hearing that was down here. I went to Manufacturing Day with the U of A engineering students, and I visited two facilities that I didn't even know existed in Yuma County. One makes Toyota parts, and the other one makes insulation. And in fact, they make a part that's for the F-35. For the F-35, one part, and it takes 8 hours, one person 8 hours to assemble this because of all the specs. It was an amazing tour, and I learned quite a bit. Anyway, and then I attended the COVID-19 Zoom meeting with Tim and Diana Gomez, and that was interesting. And then on Saturday night, I attended Catholic Community Center's Toast of Hope, 60 years, and thoroughly enjoyed that as well. So,
Your report was so long. Did you mention the fair at all?
I did go. I went to the fair last night. I worked at the fair last night, and it was so crowded. I went out to work in a booth, and I left my house. I had to be there at 5:30. I left my house at 5 o'clock, and I was late because there were so many people. I ended up parking in that parking lot clear over there by the demolition derby area where they have the rodeo, because the other parking lots were all full. There was a really good crowd, and I'm really excited. The night before, I understand there was even a larger crowd. So I'm really excited for the Fair Board and for
it's pent up demand. I mean, it's just when you don't do it for a couple of years, people just ready to go. Thank you.
And I got my cinnamon roll.
Oh, well, that's the most important part. So Supervisor Lyons.
I got 2 cinnamon rolls.
Oh, you did, huh?
Picking up 3 tonight. I know.
Started the week off last week greeting Senator Lindsey Graham as he was here to look at the border, and then finished the day off with a roundtable where Chairman Reyes and I were able to sit down and do a question and answer session. Visited with the governor in Phoenix on Tuesday, talked again about the upcoming budget, what that would look like, and what their priorities are from the governor's office, and some additional funding here in Yuma County, specifically for the Post Academy, whether or not that could come this year or be in next year's budget. And then met with Congressman Biggs and several other congressmen here on the border to look at some of the challenges that we have. They'd never had the opportunity to be to the southern border. And then with Susan, worked at the Yuma Rotary Fair booth Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Took my shift and cooked a lot of sausage and tried to.
Good for you.
I went to church yesterday. All right, that's it.
10 minutes.
Attended the Mohawk Irrigation District Board meeting. Had a meeting out at the Sheriff's Office in the Foothills with Developmental Services and the Sheriff's Office and some of the community, reference to a problem with the residents in the area as far as trafficking and some other issues. Had a few other meetings as well, referenced some issues. One of them being referenced Bob that was here talking about 52nd Street. I've already had the Sheriff's Office run a radar through there and get the stats. So that's talking to Frank. That's gone to Frank for us to look into and see what we can do. Had an LEPC meeting and also held a community meeting in the Foothills where I had Probably about 80 people in attendance for that, so it was a good turnout. And that's it.
Mr. Chairman, I did want to say and interject that I had several calls with constituents regarding their tax bills.
Oh, so
And we probably ought to have additional conversations, followed up having conversations with our county attorney's office and Susan as well.
All right.
Commercial or
Supervisor
residential?
Fortune.
I want to thank Susan and staff for that tour that we took around parts of areas of the BNC Colonia. Also attended the city CBDG meeting, the first public meeting. And also thanks John for inviting me to that domestic violence awareness virtual event in Somerton at the park.
That's how he found out he was a member. All right, let's move on. I went to, first of all, I want to thank the Redistricting Commission for holding a hearing in San Luis, Arizona, which is what we've been asking them to do. Although it was a satellite meeting, they weren't there. They weren't like Surprise or someplace over there. They still try to accommodate people from South County to those meetings. Unfortunately, there was only 4 of us there. Well, there was 20 in Surprise and 20 in Flagstaff and, all kinds of people. But their initial maps are a little troublesome to me. But, again, it's just a report, and, you got, see, yeah. Attorney, would you please control these? Remember? So the Redistricting Commission, again, their maps are just based on population counts. So they're still not very well organized in terms, but they're still a little bit troublesome to me because I did see there was some possibilities there that they could make some change. I mean, they're going to have to add people to almost every district, and in Yuma, they may just simply decide they're going to keep everything in one congressional district, which would be a problem to me because people are used to having a representative that represents their views a little better, and that would either dilute one side of Yuma or dilute the other side of Yuma County, which is what we're trying to avoid. But they had a hearing and we had a chance to talk about it. Again, it feels weird that 90% of the people that are making a presentation are asking for them to be put together and they stay together in one district, and us, we're just asking for to be split in 2. It's just weird. Binational week, there was a meeting at the consulate, I think last week, where Binational Health Week was announced, and it was well attended by different organizations that do this. And I think it just kind of emphasizes the fact that diseases do not know a border. And that, if we don't deal with this as a region, like we do with economic development, if we don't deal with health issues as a region, we'll end up with the same problems we always have, which is, if you have a tuberculosis crisis across the border, it comes over this side. And, it's just not a good way to address those issues. I did attend a meeting a meeting with Senator Lindsey.
Yes.
Senator Graham. I was surprised, and I said so. I think I had an expectation. I thought he was less informed.
You were pleasantly surprised.
I was pleasantly surprised, actually, to hear him talk on the logical, in a logical manner about what's happening on the border. I was, again, pleasantly surprised that he seems to understand the importance of immigration and immigrants and to the economy, most of all. But second, he did seem to understand the difficulties that people with DACA people have, and he emphasized he was a member of the Gang of 8 last time, and that he supported legalization, and that basically the best thing he said is that he was brought down to the border by Senator McCain and was given a thorough explanation of what the actual situation in the border was. So it was good to hear that he just didn't come here for a photo op, that he came here, he had view on it, and that the view wasn't that far off from what most of us have. So it was a good meeting overall. And I think
that Gang of 8 would reassemble and get some stuff done.
Yeah, well, I think his message was, do not expect anything to happen during the current administration with the current makeup of Congress.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, some of the farmers there was a couple of large farmers, asked the question about farm workers crossing the border with visas, the famous, what's it, H2As?
H2A.
H2As, and he said, well, H2As will probably get support, but no legalization of any kind is gonna go through this Congress. He says that it doesn't have enough support in Congress to move. So I guess we're going to be sort of just asking for things and hoping that we get enough support to at least provide the labor that most of the farmers out here, agricultural sector need. And I think that's probably all we can expect from them at this time. That's, I think, all I have. I had something else that I forgot about.
Real quick, Tony, I just want to throw something out there. I forgot Saturday is drug take back. I believe it's countywide. Law enforcement departments around the area will be open to bring in your old medications or whatever that you want to dispose of. I know I'm going to be working out at the Foothill substation. It's going to be open from 10 to 2, taking drugs in that you want to dispose of without having to flush them or whatever you want to call it.
Doing it, but yeah.
So,
Just, we were doing a service project and cleaning out some storage units for some people that had moved with my scouts, and we found a bunch of medications. So I called Leon, and he said that they always have that deposit location inside his office. So I was able to take all that medication and deliver it directly there.
yeah, this is just the national one. This is the thing.
So Leon's taking
the-
medications inside his office?
Well, no, there's bins at the, they also have those at the Foothill Sheriff's Office that are always open.
Always take it, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
They're always available, but this is the big one where, you know, they really
They
push.
reach out to the public and make them aware.
I don't know how
Yeah.
we get into a discussion item, but it's not a discussion. It's just, reporting on events that happen or will happen. All right. Anybody else? Nothing? Okay, Susan, you get to close it up.
Thank
That's
you,
it.
Mr.
You're
Chair. Yes, I toured the BNC Colonia with Josh Scott, Craig Sellers, and Supervisor Porches, and we met with Gail Castricone, and she is getting the neighbors organized again to try to do some cleanup. So we'll do what we can to assist with that process. The proposal evaluation team for broadband proposals met last Friday and interviewed the top 3 firms, and we'll be debriefing later this week about the direction that we would recommend to the board. Met with my Arizona City County Management Association board. I'm on the board for the next 2 years. And I'm also on the ICMA Conference Planning Committee for next year in Columbus, Ohio. I attended the ICMA conference this year virtually and gave 2 presentations, one on the convening power of counties and one on broadband challenges and solutions. Have my regular monthly meeting with the City of Yuma's administrator and our bi-monthly meeting with all the city administrators and myself to talk about commonalities and things that we can work together on. We met along with the chairman with the Economic Development Administration regarding the Western Arizona Economic Development District, which will bring more information to you about. And then I'm going to start, I've done 2 rounds during my tenure, 2 rounds of meeting out with the departments, with all employees. So I'm going to start that again in November. And I'm looking forward to that. I kind of stopped with COVID, but I think it's opened up enough where I think it's safe for me to go out and meet with employees. So I'm looking forward to that process again. That's it.
Question on your report. You mentioned the
question,
Wi-Fi. You mentioned the broadband thing. The call I got was from a local provider, and it was about the selection process and why wasn't a local provider chosen? Kind of like what happened with the vehicles, right? It's the RFP, it's the way that they're presented, it's whether they have enough sites. I just don't know enough to answer that. Would you mind sort of giving me, and if any of the board members would like to, sort of like the background? I mean, what you use?
I can state that, and I can share all the information once we've selected a vendor to move forward with, because it's a bid process. You can't share information until after someone's selected and
Whatever. No, I'm not talking about the selection.
So what I can tell you is that the proposal evaluation team had criteria that we created on rating sheets before we sent the RFP out. When we got the proposals back, we evaluated each firm according to that criteria, and there's rankings, and the ones that were in the top 3, it was a very clear top 3 and a bottom 2, and the top 3 are those that we move forward to interview, and the bottom 2, I let them know that they weren't going to be interviewed. The best opportunity is that when this is a big project and when it comes down to actually constructing, there's going to be a lot of local opportunity, not only for someone who bid on this project, but a lot of other firms across the county that can help with construction and putting the actual infrastructure in place. So there will be a lot of local opportunities.
Okay.
And I don't know if I can, it's not on the agenda.
Mr. Chairman?
I am.
To
Go
kind
ahead.
of, I just wanted to speak as a member of that committee.
Just to remind you, this is just events calendar that we can't, if you get too far into discussions on matters that may become to the board at a future date, you're now going to crossing that line into open meeting law violations.
Right. All I wanted was a sort of an explanation of the process. I don't really, yeah, well, I do, but I want it on paper. That's it. So if you have an RFP, if you have anything like that, I just want to know what your criteria was. It's just simple. I mean, it's like, what happened. It's not a big deal. Right. That's it. What, you want to ask anything else that?
No, I just wanted to share that it was all the formal bid process.
Yeah, no.
And I had actually exempted myself from this portion of it because I had been contacted by so many individuals, so that I wouldn't taint that process.
Well, I don't know if being contacted by the local people is tainting the process, but whatever.
While it's out to bid, absolutely.
All right, well, whatever. I just, can you make that available to me? And that's it. All right, thank you. Let's not go into further details. Anybody else? Anything else? There's two attorneys that they outnumber me, so there's two attorneys in the house. Anything else? If not, then this is it. Thank you, everyone. Oh,